3, 2, 1, go. And we're live. This is Retraice 117 for June 22nd, 2023, a Thursday. It's 4:40 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk purpose and resources of Retraice. And let's jump right into it. I've got my notes, of course. I'm out of practice, of course. I'm in caps, of course. There we go. This segment of Retraice is by way of explanation. Retraice is now going to be paid only, this podcast Retraice, whereas technical and margin, there hasn't been a technical yet, but that's coming very soon, and margin will both stay free on this YouTube channel. Retraice is going to be paid. Why? Let's talk why. I came here to talk why. I came prepared. What is the purpose of Retraice? Retraice has a purpose. I think I've mentioned this at least once before. We have a mission statement that predates the company, or like mostly predates the company. Don't laugh at it, okay? I worked really hard on this. Find the fundamentals that make the future better than the past and make them common knowledge as measured by tests. Got it? Easy, right? I mean, we can knock this over. How long do we have? So that's the purpose of Retraice, the company. And the way we think we can do that, well, let's talk about the way we think we can do that. First, we need to get more specific. We need to, what are the fundamentals? What is better? We worked on better a little bit, RTFM. How do we make them common knowledge? And then how do we test it? Okay, let's get specific. So I think the fundamentals are these things: logic, common sense, sympathy, empathy, wisdom, knowledge, hard work, all of them used in tandem. They all go together. When I crafted the mission statement, I thought of myself and the company like searching for the fundamentals, spending a lot of time looking. And we did do that, but you're going to like this. We found them, but they were always within. Think about it for a second. All the intellectual legwork we've been doing, right? Where did we discover logic, the value of logic, common sense, sympathy, empathy, wisdom, knowledge, hard work, and using them in tandem? We didn't discover this. This is just common sense, or it's not. No, it's from experience, not common sense. It's not common sense. You know, a lot of people turn out to be crap on these dimensions, and so they don't have the sense, and it's not so common. This is experience. I've lived a little bit of life. You've lived a little bit of life. You're not looking at that list and thinking, these aren't fundamentals that make the future better than the past. Well, what are they then? I don't know what they are, but they're that. That's a good starting list, and that's the order in which they came to me. You know, but they were like it was like look in the mirror, or like look in the cognitive mirror, reflect. I think those are the fundamentals. Can I prove it? Can I demonstrate it scientifically or rigorously? No. But I think doing something with them, we'll talk about that, will reveal problems. So if I'm wrong about any of those, or I've, used the wrong nouns, maybe, wisdom is too squishy, or common sense is too, aspirational a concept, the use will set us free. The use will iron out all the BS. Okay, so if those are the fundamentals, remember our mission: find the fundamentals that make the future better than the past and make them common knowledge as measured by tests. So let's say we found the fundamentals just by a little bit of introspection. That's the word I was looking for before. Introspection. Now what do we have to do? We have to make them common knowledge. I think, or at least a good guess, a good start is to make them common knowledge, is to use them in practice, in public, in order to demonstrate their worth. Right? I mean, use them in front of people, show what they are, and maybe they'll spread like really good memes. I don't know. We'll see. But that's a good guess. That's a pretty reasonable guess. How do we use them? We use them on the hypotheses. We talked about H1 through 12. We've talked about things that didn't make it onto the hypotheses, like Hong Kong and Ukraine and Taiwan and lots of other things. hypotheses could keep going, and I should have never called them that. I should have called them guesses about what's going on. They're not real hypotheses. Like a scientist would definitely reject that term because it's a technical term and it implies falsifiability, and that means you have to be specific and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, they're called the hypotheses apologetically. So let's use the fundamentals, logic, common sense, sympathy, empathy, wisdom, knowledge, hard work, in tandem on the hypotheses, because we can't just use them like everybody thinks they're doing all that stuff all the time, right? Most people think they're mostly doing those fundamentals just automatically because they're so good. Yeah, me too. But let's take it a bit further. Use them on the hypotheses. Do it in public. That's the podcast with three different labels: margin, retrace, margin, and technical. And that'll demonstrate their worth, and maybe that'll make them common knowledge. And if it does, we've almost completed the company's mission. We can go home if we do one more thing, and that is test this. Make sure it's possible to know whether or not we're doing the things we think we're doing. I don't know. I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing on how to test this stuff, but I know it's there, and I'll figure it out. Okay. That's all I wanted to say about the purpose of Retraice. I forgot I got to talk about resources. Of course, we got to talk resources. Let's talk resources. Can you hear that podcast? That's me rubbing my fingers together, getting greedy. Retraice will be paid only now. Margin and technical will continue to be free. You have to make leaps of faith in Reese's terminology. You have to make guesses. When you have all the freedom in the world, it sounds good, and then you realize that freedom, like complete freedom, is just sort of meaningless mush. So you have to introduce constraints based on something deep in your soul. I think of Retraice as sort of like the heart, and margin is the brain, and like Retraice the podcast. The Retraice is the company, which is this entity that I want to outlive me and do the mission. Retraice the podcast is the heart. That's what I love. What you're watching right now, this is what I love to do. This and like the starting. You just go listen to all the ones that basically weren't me coding and stuff. Now I like coding. I like coding a lot. But what I love to do is the stuff that came before that and it was interspersed and mixed in throughout. So that's the heart of what this company wants to be, what I want this company to be. The brain is margin. That's the business side. We can't just follow our heart. We need to pay our bills. We need to keep the heart beating, literally. Food, water, shelter. Not in that order. The order is shelter, water, food. You're in the wrong place without shelter, you'll die. Like, you could die overnight sometimes. You can live without water for a couple of days. You can live without food for like weeks. And then the fourth one is like love or companionship or something like that. But shelter, water, food, if you're ever in a bad situation. Oh man, did you hear about the submersible? Oh my God. All right. Ocean Gate, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So it's a very intrusive story in my mind. Intrusive set of thoughts. Okay, but it's over now. I just saw the FT had a headline, presumed dead. Anyway, okay, one thing at a time. So yeah, we have to make tough choices, remove some freedoms by introducing constraints so that we can actually do something other than mush. And so we're going to make Retraice, the core competency, the heart, paywalled, paid only for the real people who really love what we're doing. And then margin is like just so people can see that there's nothing hidden about this business. I'm going to just, whatever is going on goes into margin, more or less. Like the details can be boring, but it's transparent. Retraice is a transparent company because of margin. And then technical is all the fun type of, and once you know what to do and you got the tools to do it, that's like, it's fun and games. As I always think of computer programming, I do now. I didn't, until I really started doing it. It's like video games for adults. Anyway, I'll explain that one day or never. Retraice is the heart, margin is the brain, and technical is the what's the fancy word for limbs and appendages and the articulating limbs, the actuators. Technical is the actuators. doing things, making things work, getting things done. That's what it's going to be all about. So margin and technical will be free. Retrace will be paid. If you want to hear Retrace going forward, like this label of the podcast, go subscribe. It'll be mostly audio. When there's a visual, we'll either do it via delivering still somehow or whatever, but it's not going to be video on YouTube. I'll presume, there might be exceptions. I don't know. And so go sign up. It'll be reasonably priced, but if you're not feeling that stuff, fine. You stay with technical, stick with margin, whatever. And that's what we're going to do going forward. And that's all I wanted to say today. It took me too long to do it. How long? Doesn't matter. Okay. This has been Re117, the last Re, maybe forever, that you will see for free on the YouTube channel, or in the free podcast feed. So sign up and subscribe. There will be a couple of things over there already, but they're from a while ago that are on the Retrace and Margin paid feeds. And more to come. Technical is going to be awesome. Margin is going to be awesome around tax time, around close end of quarters, end of fiscal quarters, which is the April, July, September, and January. Not that I close the books as frequently, or on schedule, because you don't have to, because it's simple. And then around tax time in like March, April, and a technical is going to be fun. What am I talking about? All right. Signing off, right? There's nothing left to say. Have I lost everybody? I think I have. Signing off.